Hi, I'm Hillary from Called Out Ministries, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some takeaways, three takeaways from the Jeffrey Epstein case. So I recently watched, and Netflix has a new documentary out about Jeffrey Epstein's life and the entire case called Filthy Rich, which was based on a book written by James Patterson. Um, and I watched it. I highly recommend it. And I just wanted to touch on some of the takeaways that I found and three tips that we might want to keep in mind when we're trying to combat sex trafficking overall and keep our kids and our young ones safe. So number one, I'd say traffickers do not look like what you expect them to look like. Okay, they don't look like the boogeyman. They're not in a trench coat. They're not always a gang member. It's not always stranger danger. In fact, Epstein was able to victimize young girls for over 25 years, and he used other young girls to recruit his victims. So they were classmates, they were teammates, they were neighbors of, they were in the same peer group, and they would get paid extra to recruit and bring in other victims. So be mindful of that, talk to your kids about that, because we spend a lot of time protecting them from strangers on social media and adults, coaches, all of these things that we know to be wary of, but a lot of times we're really not looking at their peer group. So that's number one. Then number two, the other takeaway is that often kids are being trafficked right under our noses. Okay. So these are kids that are going back to school in the day. They're going back home at night to their parents' house. Um, and all the time they're being trafficked in between. Okay. So sometimes how you can kind of look for this is, let's say your kid has a friend that they don't have a lot of money, their parents don't have a lot of money, but they're showing up with the latest gadgets, brand new phone, tattoos, jewelry. That might be an indication that there's another adult in their life that is buying them those things, and in turn, trafficking them in response. And then the third point, and probably one of the most saddening and disturbing, is we cannot count on our institutions to take care of this problem. We have to be the advocates for sex trafficking victims. When you watch this movie, you're going to see that victims went to the FBI. They knew about Epstein going back to the mid 90s. Nothing was done. Fast forward shortly after that, a big media story was going to break about him. They got intimidated and threatened into not going with the story. So our media is not reporting on this per se. And then finally, when Epstein did get a slap on the wrist in 2007, they had a huge case against him for trafficking. That prosecutor, Alex Acosta at the time, decided to give him a sweet plea deal where he got like 13 months, and he was able to go on. Sorry. He was able to then go on and sorry about that. He was able to then go on and continue to traffic and hurt kids. So these are my three takeaways. Again, I strongly recommend that you watch this documentary. It'll give you just some insights and some ways to keep your kids safe. Okay, again, if you could, like us on Facebook, 3 Called Out, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and take care. Thanks.